There are times when only the heartbeat of a man tells us he's alive. This is Rebel 6, request dust off, over. This is Rebel 6, request dust off, request dust off. More than 6,000 times last month, this call was heard and answered across the jungles, mountains, and rice paddies of Vietnam. This is the story of a handful of wounded and a handful of 150,000 men and women whose only job it is to save the lives of men, if need be, at the cost of their own. Central Vietnam, and a province believed vital for the security of Saigon. After many days of quiet, ominous sniping threatens our position. The patrol has been ambushed and is pinned down. This is a war fought on the ground by troops brought in and out by helicopter, for we control only the land we stand upon. The front, as it has been understood in other wars, is where you are facing at the moment. Dynamite 5-2, I request dust off. Dust off is a call for help. It was the call signal of the first commander of a helicopter detachment. Since he was killed in action, it has become the universal cry for an air ambulance. 3 litters. The type of injury is urgent. Shrapnel wounds. They will identify with smoke. The area is insecure. Okay, bring the map out with it. Yankee uniform 144-4073, right here. These are men of the 283rd Air Medical Detachment, and as is the practice when an engagement is mounted, they are in the field as close to the action as possible. Marcelino Burgos, Specialist 5, Brooklyn, New York. Chief Warrant Officer T.C. Gibson, Jr., Philadelphia, Mississippi. Specialist 5, William Nelson, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Captain Bill Colbert, Knoxville, Tennessee. This is mission number 404. Tuned to our radio frequencies, the Viet Cong can and do imitate our procedures, ambushing our rescuers. It isn't until the helicopter is within rifle range that its crew can be certain who awaits them, and they are further disarmed since they exhibit the Red Cross. They may carry weapons only for the protection of their patients, not for themselves. We're riding alert. We've had some contact all morning, over. Roger, what's the best direction of approach into your area, over? 505. I suggest you come in from the south. Do not go in the area to our northeast, over. Roger, that's about where we are at this time. Go ahead and throw a smoke now, and I'll see if I can pick it up. Roger, we have purple smoke. Is that affirmative? Do not come in from the southwest. The young mother's daughter was shot while quietly riding a bicycle with her father on a public lane in a little village in the warm sun of a beautiful day. She will be dead in an hour. 4 members of this family have died this afternoon between noontime and dinner. Captain Lloyd J. Easton, ROTC, who was a pharmacist and was, before he became an executive officer, the manager of a Fairway drugstore in Woodburn, Oregon. The work here is different. We'll be heading out. There will be a Huey 1-3 coming in with a patient. Run this blood out here. The element call sign on the ground will be Alpha Mustang, Alpha 5. They'll throw the smoke for you. Mustang Alpha 5, dust off 3-1, over. Roger, 3-1. We should be in your location in about 02. Can you throw smoke for us now, over? I approach it now. Dennis Aldrich, while performing his daily chores as a foot soldier, stepped upon a claymore mine. A metallic fragment entered his left flank. It shattered his spleen, destroyed part of his kidney, went into, and is lodged in the left upper lobe of his left lung. 16 minutes later, he is here. He cannot be given an anesthetic and live. Brought in during the same engagement, a Viet Cong shares the operating room. The prognosis for both these young men is questionable. For some, the prognosis is no longer in question. Mercifully, there are those who fall and we cannot make them rise. Then the seriously wounded are stabilized so they can continue their journey. For those who live, this is stage one of several stages in the concept that if a man is hit in this unwelcomed war, it is as if he were hit on the front steps of a hospital. A hospital, doctors, nurses, medication, all stretching in a continuous comforting bandage 9,000 miles to his own bed. For Dustoff, 3-1, Mission 404 is done. 405, 406, 407, 609, 1098 are all ahead of them, for as many numbers as men can count, for as long as they are needed. In Saigon, in a remodeled and guarded apartment building, are the headquarters of the Far Eastern Joint Medical Regulating Office. It is staffed by the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force. It is from here that the life of the casualty is guided to the hospital best equipped to handle his particular injury, to the doctor best prepared to heal him. I've got an add-on and a change in destination. Aldrich, that's Aldrich. Initials Dennis D. Dennis H., that's right. Wound, left, back, from... Through the fingers of the teletype, the world knows a soldier has been struck down. His rank, his condition, his needs are noted, and over the globe, hospitals are alerted, aircraft are sent to bring them together. The center of this protective network is the briefing room at the Scott Air Force Base in Illinois. Under the command of General Howell Estes, directives go to 100 air bases in 40 countries. From these daily sessions, good morning, sir. There are 33 C-141 missions moving, which include 19 channel traffic, 8 special missions for aeromedical evacuation, and 2 embassy flights. The Clark to Travis Aerovac has been extended to Kelly to airlift an urgent burn patient to the Brooke Army Hospital Burn Center. How about this urgent case en route to Kelly? Is this a serious condition? Very serious condition. The prognosis looks quite good. He has about 35% burns of the lower extremities and part of his abdomen. Do we have any special medical attendants aboard?
Yes, sir. We have a flight surgeon on board to attend him.
Good. All right. The Saigon Aerovac, now en route to Washington, is carrying 12 litter and 22 ambulatory patients, and the mission en route to Hickam has 16 litter and 24 ambulatory patients. Surgeon, since we started that direct run from Saigon up over the northern route into Andrews, have we had any particular expressions from the patients as to whether any of those legs are too long for them? Is their medical condition being affected by the longer legs on that run? No, sir. Their condition is not affected, and they're overjoyed to get to their destination rapidly. Fine. Okay. The turbulence that concerns General Estes is often encountered by aircraft leaving Tan Son Nhut, Saigon's airport, and it is the comfort and well-being of patients like Dennis Aldrich that the General and his staff wish to assure. In the weeks since we have seen Specialist 5 Aldrich, he has been to several hospitals, the 3rd Surgical Hospital, the 97th Evacuation, and, finally, he has just left the 377th. All this for surgery to repair the considerable damage he had sustained. Yet there is more to be done, and in the policy of taking the patient to the doctor rather than the other way around, Dennis is arriving at the Clark Air Base Hospital in the Philippine Islands. Waiting for him is Dr. Lewis Patterson, the noted chest surgeon. It is his turn to examine the arrivals, check their condition, and assign them for further treatment. Every facility, every ounce and touch of kindness and skill is to be expended on their rehabilitation. There is barely a moment when they are permitted to forget this. What's your name? How long ago were you shot? Last night. Feeling pretty good? You can't help but feel some apprehension about, Are we going to be able to manage these boys? It's going to be a problem we haven't met with before, and even though we've had a plane a day now for a year so, you just can't help but feel there's a new challenge. When Dennis Aldrich received a metallic fragment wound of the left flank, he's one of the boys that's very lucky to be alive. When he got here, our X-ray showed this retained large metallic fragment in the left upper lobe. It is our policy to remove these fragments because we know that when they have a metallic fragment of this size in their lung, they are going to get into trouble sooner or later. The injuries in this war are different than previous wars from one aspect, and that is the velocity of the missiles. The M14 rifle, for example, is much faster than the missiles of the previous wars, and this imparts an awful lot of energy as it passes through the body, killing tissues at quite some distance from the actual path of the missile. The very first patient that I lost of a pure chest injury came in here, and within 24 hours was in bad respiratory distress. His whole right lung was practically destroyed, and I did an operation on him, at which time I had to make a decision. Should I take out his whole right lung and leave him a cripple for the rest of his life, or shall I attempt to patch and mend the remaining lung? I chose, as it turned out wrongly, to attempt to mend his right lung. He got a bad emphysema and died. This type of thing, you'll never forget that type of patient. Yet on the other hand, this made me work all the harder on saving lungs, and we have quite a satisfactory sensation of successful primary repairs of wounded lungs. When you really stand back and have time to stop and think, it's just such a tremendous waste of human lives and human limbs and so much suffering involved. My only hope is that it's worth it all. For the sick, nights are 1 year long, and dawn a welcome friend. With a light morning breeze comes the hope that this day will be better than the last. It is 3 days since Dr. Patterson went exhausted from his operating room, having met the challenge which in Oldham, our hospitals has resulted in returning 99% of our casualties to life. These first unaided steps are a quiet victory for all those who have held Dennis's future in their hands. Though the journey is not over for this battered boy, he is on his way. Air Force nurses Captain Dorothy Brooks and Marge Selger specially trained to man an air hospital. It was a little later before they got home to sleep. It's now not yet 6 a.m. Their days are not measured in hours, for they are a special variety of caretaker and are on constant call. Today's evacuation from Clark through Japan to the United States is to be theirs. 25 patients, including Dennis Aldrich, are to be prepared by the hospital nurses, the flight captains, and the doctors for Stage 3 on the journey to recovery. Good morning, Dennis. How are you this morning? All right. Feeling like going home yet? Am I ready? How's that arm doing? That's pretty good. So you can move that shoulder? Ready to go about 10 rounds? Well, I don't know about 10,000, maybe 5. Okay, but don't be too good. We're not allowed to send you back over there. I don't think I feel that good. You don't think you'd like that? Had enough of the VC? Oh, for a little while anyhow. Raymond Hagel, upon whom a bunker fell and who is now a paraplegic. Good morning. I'm one of the flight nurses that's getting today's flight ready that you're going home on. Just came by to say hi, see if you have any questions or problems, and tell you a little bit about your trip. Do you have any questions offhand? No, ma'am. I'm ready to go. Okay, fine. How long have you been on this frame? A little over 2 weeks now. Okay, so then you are used to being on it and being turned on it. Are you able to move your arms at all so that you can feed yourself? Yes. Do you usually eat on your back, or do you prefer to stand? On my back. Okay. We will be transporting you on this frame, and we will be turning you in flight. Is there any particular position that you're more comfortable in? Just laying on my back? Fine, then we can turn you, so I'll leave you on your back for a couple of hours, and then turn you onto your stomach for an hour, just to get you off your back for a short while. Where's your home? Philadelphia. You'll have to say hello to Philadelphia for me. Okay, a boy said when he first saw this ship coming to take him home. It is as if God came out of the sky. The craft is the C-141, and statistics aren't needed to tell us its size. The bookkeepers can tell us it is expensive. The pilots can boast of its cruising speed. But to the boys who have been on it, for all its magnificence and strength, it is a box, it is a wing, it is the way home. It comes in as a tightly packed warehouse, a cargo vessel. In an hour and a half, it can be unrecognizable. Its function, its character, even the way it will be flown, will be radically altered. Now the flying warehouse will be transformed. Each individual flight is configured to the needs of every patient that will come aboard. In effect, each flight is a handcrafted, specially designed hospital ward. The conversion starts with placement of the comfort pallets. This monument to modern technology makes provision for all eventualities, seats for the ambulatory patients and for those still on litters, but well enough to try to advance to an upright position before they get to their people. Oxygen, inches from everyone. Individual medication is a small reach away for instant administration. Coming aboard to take her post with Captains Brooks and Selger is Major Lola Ball, chief nurse of this division. Once a month, as supervisor and instructor of her wing, she travels this route. Unless there are most unusual circumstances, there is no doctor aboard, and the chief medical officer is the nurse in charge. On this flight, it is Captain Dorothy Brooks. How much oxygen do we have on board? We will put the striker patient here, and the rest of it will be as is. I think if this is complete, I think we can go ahead with the loading. We will start with this patient here and just follow through this side, and then we can move the ambulatory patients. That's right. Okay, fine. I'll check with Captain Selger and see if she's ready, and then we can go. Its pilots are trained around the slogan, "Patients aren't cargo, patients aren't passengers, patients are patients." This requires a gentle skill rarely achieved by average men. When you see a plane filled with young men who have been severely, dramatically, and suddenly injured by the effects of war, probably most of them are just from home for 6 months, a year, the first time away from home, the basic feeling really is that I'm not there. I could be, but for the grace of God. Patients are the end result of a nurse's long, particularly a flight nurse's long, striving to do something for someone who really needs her, who really needs to have her help, and to do something that she's been trained for all her life. And certainly in flight nursing, you use everything you've ever been trained to do. Very often you use all of this in one flight. It can be frightening to think that someone else's life is in your hands, but through training, plus the fact that there's no one else around, all that you can do is to hope that you make the right decisions. Our patients that are taken back to the United States, they're young boys. They're boys when they left Travis and went over, but you wouldn't dare call them a boy on the way back. I think they use us as mirrors to see how we react to them. They can see how they look in a mirror themselves, but we would be their mirror to them on a plane, how we would react to them. And if we were to react violently, this is how they would get the conception of how they themselves look. Does it bother you that these fellows are young? I don't know whether it makes any sense or not as to why they're injured. I don't. Think about it. I don't understand it. You can't stop and think about this. The problem is to see what you can do with them from here on in. How do you help rehabilitate them? Most of them think about what they are going to do when they get home. A lot of them think about how long it will take them to recuperate and be returned to duty. Some patients reveal their anxieties by being extremely quiet. I think some of these fellows are afraid to voice some of their anxieties because it would be maybe unmanly to do so, and you have a communication that you don't have to put into words, just the patience, and you just feel the closeness that a flight nurse and a patient has. Perhaps it is that they're sharing a common experience. They're both alone. They're both away from home. They are supporting each other in that the patient is looking for the nurse to help them. And I think the nurse, in a great sense, is looking to the patient to give her the sense of responsibility that she has. When I first went to Vietnam, I was trying to actually visualize what it was going to be like. I didn't really know. In a way, I was sort of glad to go over there. Then it was a little scared, too. Gently cradled now, warmed by affection and care, the men in their hospital fly from the world of war to the sweetness of home. The night is no longer the enemy's ally. Sunset brings healing sleep, reflection, remembrance. Sometimes you dream. You see someone getting hit or something that happened before, and you remember it in your dreams. I've had several dreams where actually I just almost relived something that happened before. This was after I was hit. Our platoon was selected that morning to go out on a patrol, just a search and clear type patrol, and it was a hot, humid day and the ground was all wet. The rice paddies were flooded. I just walked across the rice paddy dike and was walking into the water. The water was fairly deep, just about up to my knees. I felt myself getting hit and then heard the explosion, and I was thrown to the ground. During the explosion, I heard the people yelling for the medic. Some of the other guys ran over and pulled me up out of the water and got me back to the dike, where it was dry. The medic was there by that time, bandaging me up. Got 2 boys, Captain Brian, 7 and 8, and a little girl, Shiva. Last time I saw them was a year ago, December. Well, it shouldn't be too long. One hospital close to home, so it shouldn't be too long. I wonder how you're going to make a living, how long it's going to take, things like that. But I've been thinking. I couldn't come up with any answers yet. What do you think about? A lot of things. What you've done in your life, what you got to do. Think about home, about everything, I guess. Try to pass the time. It's impossible not to become attached to any patient, whether you're with him for 5 minutes or many days. Nursing, I think, has a compassion that most people do not understand. Nursing is a way of life. It's, as a soldier would be a soldier, nursing is a way of life for nurses. Leaving nursing or getting out of nursing could be compared with suddenly missing or not having a limb. It would be like taking part of you away. Do you remember them? You don't always remember every face and every name, but you do remember specific ones. You remember conversations and looks. Leaving a patient or having him leave you is sort of like leaving part of your family. At 826 Forest Street, Stevens Point, Wisconsin, as in many corners of the land, a family nervously awaits the return of a young man. The boy need not be a hero. He need not be a prodigal son. He need only to have done his job. He need only return safely. For every surviving soldier is a hero. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.